Hi guys, welcome to this upload for you guys here. All I can say is massive shout out to every one of you guys that is watching this video, and obviously in that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you're in and updated anytime I want to do any videos. 99 and now if you've done it, you're making it one away. I can't believe it, one away from 100 for me to talk about professional wrestling. Now, I just want to say to you guys is obviously I didn't watch Dynamite yet. This is the first one technically I've not actually had any chance whatsoever. I normally, within 48 hours of it being on air, if I don't watch it live, I catch up with it then. I've just had no time. I was just catching up with rest, catching up with sleep, because as you may or may not know, because by my previous videos that I mentioned, I got a new job, which I'm grateful for. So that's helped my confidence go back up right now. I'm buzzed about it, and I'm looking forward to working with alongside the management, alongside obviously the team, obviously me and the rest of the team. I know they're losing a lot of staff, but I think I've applied and got the job pretty much because obviously my experience. I'm looking forward to helping them as they help me going forward. I'm trying to word it nicely, but great people so far. I find they're great people. They were very welcoming, very humbling. Because how amazing it felt to work again. I think this fresh start was needed. So I'm looking forward to seeing what prevails from whenever I get my rota. I'm hoping I'm working this weekend because that'll boost up my money even more for this trip. 4 weeks away, guys, for lads away in London. I'm not going to call it Boys on Tour because obviously, if you're an OG towards my content, obviously that would be a sign of disrespect towards Stephen Hollywood, who we lost, was it 3 or 4 years ago now? I know I'm going a bit into dark mode, but I still miss every day of him since he's left. That's why I continue on these trend with these vlogs and taking you guys along with me. And obviously, yeah, Paddy's with me. Don't forget, Paddy's already said, like, off camera and on camera, he's never out to replace Hollywood, which is nice of him to say. And I feel like that is necessary to be mentioned because I know full well there's a lot of people out there still miss Hollywood as much as I do towards the Boys on Tour vlogs. Obviously, I wasn't going to get Ollie to replace him either. So that's why I call it Lads Away. So hashtag Lads Away. Okay. Whilst I'm talking about London, Sweet Chin Disco was booked last night. Within minutes, the first wave of tickets are sold out. Looking forward to a night out with Paddy again. So yeah, and we're meeting Mercedes Moné. That takes one of my hit lists for the convention next year. At least one thing I can buy my autograph for next year. I'm hoping to go for Love Wrestling 7. I'm hoping Paddy coming this time round. But yeah. So that's what I mean. We're meeting Mercedes Moné. I'm hoping Leo Rush, I get to meet him at Progress. If not, hopefully meet him when he's at obviously Sweet Chin Disco. You never know, they might end up throwing Leo Rush involved, but the first wave of tickets were 20 quid. The next wave is 23. I don't know when they're releasing each wave. Don't ask in the comments. But all I can say is this. Sweet Chin Disco is an amazing experience. You've seen over on my vlog channel. So please check that out when I do these vlogs, because obviously I'm doing all in during the evening, and then after that straight round to the after party. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun weekend on Lads Away, and that's saying something. It'd be great to obviously hang out again with Ollie at some point over the weekend, and then obviously hang out with Paddy again, because obviously at the moment we hardly see each other. He used to pop in when it was like when I was working in my last place, but obviously not working there anymore. So, but he's a good mate, really good mate. I know he's going through a lot of shit recently diagnosed with bipolar, which technically I could see, but you need to be quite sure. I'm proud of him when he actually, got tested and so on like that, and to prove it. That proves how much power that guy really has. And if he ever doubts himself, trust me, don't, Paddy. If you're watching this, don't. You're a top mate. You've helped me through my tough times and so on like that. I'll always be a good mate to you because you've been a good mate to me over the years. Now, fucking hell, got emotional even talk about that. Must be the menopause. Remember, I'm 44. But yeah, I think what really triggered me a bit emotional that I'm happy that I've got another job. Don't quote me this. This was just from passing conversation. It looked like I'll be getting double what I did in my last job. That's a blessing in disguise. But don't quote me on it, okay, guys? Promise me, don't quote me on it. But I'll still find time to talk about professional wrestling here on this very channel, as well as obviously do my vlogs. When I go to wrestling shows on the other channel. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting trip, this London one. It's getting more and more expensive, to be honest. And I'll be honest with you, when I've literally done the breakdown with everything so far, apart from obviously the meet and greets at Progress, or the meet and greets at Rev Pro, or the meet and greets, if Rev Pro doing any, that is, or Progress doing any, or Eve when they release their Progress tickets. Before all that, I've done a breakdown of everything we've spent so far. I've spent so far, but that doesn't include my food. It still works out cheaper than a fucking WWE ticket for a decent view ticket. That's just mental, just to think. Put that in perspective. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. But yeah, I'm not here to bash WWE. I'm here to talk about some AEW. And with the rumours and speculations, I want to say this. The one thing I find very interesting about this, it proves how many people want to grab AEW's attention to make this happen. Obviously, we talk about Bayley today. Now, Bayley, I do respect what she's actually done for the wrestling business when it came to WWE. She obviously, I want to say this, and I'll be honest with you, I really, really felt bad for her when she did actually get moved to the main roster. Because it came out of nowhere, no one was expecting it, but it worked in her favour in the long run. But the problem where it lies, I'll be honest with you, you ditched it hugging gimmick. She technically grew out of it. She turned into a heel, then a heel leader. Then there was no going back from that. But I want to say this. When I literally looked at her when she was in NXT, the black and gold era that I loved, before it was tarnished by 2.0, I will be honest with you. When I looked at this as a separate entity to WWE, even though it was under the umbrella, this is why I always stress this. I saw NXT as separate because it felt different. It literally didn't feel like a WWE product. It felt so natural. It was delivered what served its purpose. I've not watched NXT since it turned to 2.0, and that's me being honest with you guys, the Splat era, when they kind of tarnished it, when Vince literally and Kevin Dunn. Plus as well, whilst I'm on about Vince, what's the point of having this massive campaign to get Vince back when he's going to be so out of touch anyway? It's gonna make the product even far worse than what it is now. So don't bring back Vince. We don't want Vince McMahon back. This is not me. He had trouble building new characters as it was. He had trouble building people from NXT when they were moved to the main roster. It's just as bad as it is now, if not worse. He was fortunate that he had his favourites. Keep in mind, if Vince was still around now, Austin Theory would have been your new John Cena. Not Cody Rhodes. That's me being honest. So, yeah. So anyway, back to the Bayley situation. Right? When it comes to the likes of NXT, I always thought that was a separate brand back then. Because I was enjoying it far more better than... Look, I would say this. The reason why I was enjoying it because the wrestlers enjoying what they were doing. When you looked at the main roster, they looked like they were bored out of their brains. The only reason why I feel like they've done the roster when you looked at that time period, time frame, and all that lot, certain wrestlers, yeah, fair enough, stood out from the crowd. But obviously, they've recently gone back to the WWE, and I feel like when I look at that, they won't know how to fucking handle. I would literally say, with people saying the woke people, they wouldn't handle the old versions of them. They would crave it, but there'd be a lot of complaints. So yeah, when you look at the bigger spectrum and the bigger perspective of it, it's going to be hard for those that, when I say, that's why I looked at, like, other than some of the talent that were actually using back then to stand out from the crowd, from obviously what's going off in the WWE that time period, and then when you literally, it didn't look like they were enjoying themselves. Then you look at the bigger perspective of everything. All I can say is to everyone that is actually watching this, I love like I'm saying, I love the black and gold era. But when Bayley was in there, yeah, she stood out because she was that lovable character, that lovable rogue character, larger than life. That's what I meant by wrestlers enjoying themselves. And then Bayley made that character believable with the inflatable buddies and all that lot. Then all of a sudden, making her heel, when she went to the main roster, she went the same way. But the way they actually made her stand out when she literally turned heel out of the blue, everyone was not expecting it. It was a pathetic way of doing it, but it was effective. When she attacked the inflatable buddies or whatever they're called, when people that have been watching Bayley would know what I meant. I thought it was a pathetic way of doing it, but it made her viral. She made herself interesting when she turned herself heel. Because I thought the product was going in that direction to make that risky move. That's when WWE did do a risk in recent memory that I can actually say what in that product they actually did take a risk, turning her heel. Other than the matches she's actually had with the likes of Sasha Banks back in the day, and obviously Lizzie Mania where she is now, just proves how fucking mental it is to think how that's came full circle. Technically now Lizzie Mania is like fucking wrestling, like under the Bayley sort of old gimmick. So when you look at the bigger spectrum of it, the bigger perspective of everything that's going off with the WWE at the moment, and she's speculated to be leaving, and a lot of rumours because obviously Mercedes Moné basically put up a post with Wrestle Dream with her versus obviously Bayley, obviously under Pamela, under her real name. Now the problem where it lies is it's going to be a lot harder than you think just to transition to AEW. Yeah, you can say certain wrestlers have came from WWE over the years of AEW, have come to the company, but this is a vital one. I feel like I want to say this, I'll be honest with you. I'm really surprised the amount of talk that the internet's got and a buzz about Bayley jumping ship to AEW. But the problem where it lies, when you could be stereotypical and say, oh yeah, she's got a decent fan base, loyal fan base, they'll follow through, they'll bring the ratings up on Dynamite or Collision when she debuts, or the buy rates of the pay-per-view, but then you got to realise the majority of her fan base are WWE loyalists and we'll say tribalism, running rife, you know. That's the problem where it lies. That loyal fan base are going to jump ship and watch AEW because she's on the product. You know, they could. The majority of them are WWE through and through. So that's what I'm saying to you guys is it's an interesting thing that people are talking about it. The dirt sheets are talking about it. The problem where it lies, obviously, as AEW fans, we'll love anyone that comes through that door. You know, they'll adapt straight away to her because obviously we did start watching WWE before AEW. Now, if AEW was around the same time period as WWE has throughout generations, we could actually say to you guys at home, like myself, I don't think you'll be that adaptable. But the problem where it lies when it comes to someone like Bayley, right? And I'll be honest with you, she's already reinvented herself twice. I'm wondering how she would reinvent herself for AEW, let alone for a TV-14 product. She's so used to the PG crowd, but fair enough, she can actually adapt, don't get me wrong. She'll do it really well, but the thing is, what persona could she do that she hasn't already done? You know, they could have left. I'll be honest with you, right? I know it did go a bit stale, but they could have gave her the hugging gimmick. They could have kept her the hugging gimmick. That heel run that she had in WWE as that heel / leader. I'll be honest with you, right? I'm going to be honest with you as they come. That would have been ideal in AEW. That's me being honest. Because that's the problem where it's going to lie is she has to now reinvent herself. You know? That's what I mean. It's like when wrestlers inherit a new name from WWE, it's not helping anyone. It's 2026. Fair enough, they don't want to give out. They don't want to fucking give over their name if they want to go elsewhere after if it folds in WWE. So they want to keep their name. But the problem is where it lies is the gimmick, the character. They've got to rebuild that. It's the same principle with like Bayley jumping ship to AEW. She's got to now. If she does go to AEW, I'm wondering how she can literally rebuild herself. It's a risk that I'm intrigued about if she does go to AEW. It's like I mentioned in a previous video about rumours and speculations that Sheamus may be going to AEW. No, I want TNA can have him. You know, no disrespect to Sheamus. TNA can actually have him so they can actually have a big name. A big name, yeah. Because at the moment I feel like this is the one thing that really is frustrating me. That I see the likes of what's happening with NXT, it doesn't have that same feel because anyone they get technically new has been fed from TNA. So TNA deserves that bigger name, you know, that go-to guy, you know, make him the poster boy of TNA because that would be an interesting thing. Obviously, there's a load of other wrestlers that they've had a 90-day compete clause ended. I wouldn't mind the likes of Nikki Cross and Kaylee Ray, Amber Fire in the likes of AEW to zhuzh up the women's division, you know, because end of the day, these are experienced women that could help elevate the women's division. Don't get me wrong, we could have bangers matches, but I've got to say that I'm saying this hand on heart. I look at this as one of the most talked about females at the moment. Bayley is. I see this talked about more than the rumours and speculations with New Day because they've died off a bit, which is good. They may debut on Sunday night at Redemption. I'm not saying Bayley will, But all I can say is to you guys, it's going to be an interesting ride. Are these people going to be hating on AEW again, saying, "Oh, look, they're signing former WWE guys"? It's stereotypical that TNA used to have this treatment. I've been through that era of TNA. When I used to praise TNA a lot, I've not watched TNA in years. But AEW is getting that same treatment. But granted, wrestling is a business. But the problem is, if you are signing all these former WWE guys, what does this mean for anyone else? But I'll be honest with you. When I look at these no 90-day compete clauses, the people that have gone, I couldn't see the White Six other than Nikki Cross going to the likes of AEW or the likes of Ring of Honor to boost that up a bit. Because end of the day, yeah, fair enough. Her and Big Damo have bought Defy Wrestling in the United States and Progress. Yet Big Damo signed with MLW, which is amazing, like I've mentioned before. So it's an interesting time to be a wrestling fan, don't get me wrong, but these wrestling fans are actually loyalties to the wrestler, or is it their loyalty to the brand they work for? That's the only drawback. Because you got to realise this, these loyal CM Punk fans they've got right now, that's some of them have watched him throughout his career, don't get me wrong, but these are the same people it proves their brand loyalty, not the wrestler. What I mean by is because I look at the bigger picture. You hated on CM Punk. This is a prime example of it. You hated on CM Punk for going to AEW, although, yes, some people did tune in and buy tickets, don't get me wrong, because they're seeing CM Punk after so long. You hated on him, and then these same people loved him as soon as he went back to WWE. So technically, you are not a CM Punk fan. You are loyal to the brand that you known him for. Even though, yes, you may say you're a fan of the wrestler, you're not a fan of the wrestler because you are a fan of the brand. Because if you are a fan of the wrestler, that brand, that business, or whatever whatever you want to class it as, that persona that wrestler's done, you follow them wherever they go. And that's me being honest. It's like these Karrion Kross fans and Scarlett Bordeaux fans. Where's all these loyal fans that he actually had? Are you watching MLW? Don't get me wrong. I've been busy. I've not had a chance to check out MLW Fusion. Yeah, fair enough. I've talked about MLW on this channel, but I've not even had one chance yet to watch one episode because obviously sorting my life out, that came top priority. I was focused on applications after applications for jobs. It took me 15 applications to get this job. If I can do it, you can do it if you're looking for work, that is. I feel like this fresh start could be good for me in the long run. But anyway, that's just my thoughts and opinions. Tell me yours down below about Bayley joining AEW. But until next time, guys, obviously keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that bell icon. Until next time, guys, I mean this. I'm still blown away. 99, one away from 100. And obviously, check out my vlog channel for all my old vlogs. In the link tree down below, please do. Until next time, catch you guys later.